about as we face these complex times, to really hold these principles in our hearts and try to work from a place of what are we feeling called to do that will be in service of the entire living world? And how do we best serve all people and all other species at the same time? And again, we're just trying to create and maintain a safe space. But again, it seems like we're going to be talking about some things. This question might create a mix of very personal stories that you want to keep confidential and more open things that we wouldn't mind having as a public record. So it's going to be up to each of us to be very clear and say ahead of time if we don't want things recorded. But otherwise, is there someone who's ready to do a recording?
It's already running.
It's already running. Okay. And Derek, you've got it this time?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. All right then. So to start us off with some gratitude or appreciation, given the theme that we're building on, I think what I'll ask you for right now is what are some stories of activism, but choose a story of activism that has given you inspiration in recent weeks. What else are people doing that is really feeling good right now? And I can start. I'm been really impressed by all of the volunteer mask makers. I just think that's so cool. And so that kind of direct response seems great. And partly it's because I'm jealous because right now I don't have access to a sewing machine because it's with somebody who needs to be much more isolated than me. So I'm not helping out, but I'm like, oh yes, they're sewing. That's cool. So that's something I'm appreciating. And and we'll do the whoever goes, go ahead and point out the next person. But Derek, it sounds like you're ready to go, so I'm giving it to you.
Earlier today, I was on a call. It's now a weekly call with the Pachamama Alliance, and two of the three co-founders, Bill and Lynn Twist, were hosting it. And it reminded me of the fable, the myth, the story of the eagle and the condor, where the eagle represents technology and the condor represents the indigenous ways. And there's long been a story that the eagle would reign for 500 years and then the eagle and condor would come together. And this is that 500-year point. And so I think I'm grateful for the technology, the eagle part, that allows us to really deepen our indigeneity and our sense of connection, to really dip into the indigenous worldview. And yeah, so here's a 500-year-old myth that's coming together, and we're the ones that are making it happen. And so I'm deeply grateful for that. Let's just keep going around the circle. Paul.
Thank you. I'm actually going to focus my gratitude on Benny for proposing what I feel is a really timely question. I personally, I am I'm grateful for what a lot of people are doing. I'm inspired by what my friend Kausara is doing in Togo. She's come up with these ingenious hand washing stations. And, you know, that took like a lot of initiative and determination to act. It's not like there was an army supporting her. Yeah. But I have really been feeling like I'm straddling the, you know, oh, this is a great opportunity, this pandemic here in the US to learn some long overdue lessons, and maybe move on from here in a promising way, and wanting to talk about that, and at the same time being really aware of people in extreme situations of deprivation here, and then to a much greater extent, of course, in Africa, but really here too. So I'm really grateful that you asked that question.
And who goes next, Paul?
Oh, sorry. How about Benny?
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I found my dad and I were watching 60 Minutes, I think, something like that. And we saw, they had a clip about, you know, they were covering restaurants and small businesses right now. And there was a clip of a woman working in a restaurant receiving to-go orders, and someone called in and put down an order for 100 meals to be sent to nurses and doctors in a nearby hospital. And that's just such a beautiful and well-rounded, like full win, like well-rounded, like fully giving, like such an act of deep giving, and so local. And it was just really beautiful. So I'm really inspired and grateful for that act and the many others similar that are occurring right now. And I guess we can call on Peter next.
Hello, nice to meet you, Benny. I just figured I knew what I was going to say, and then you saying that made me want to think very hyper-locally, but I'm still feeling not hyper-local. What is moving through me, I'm most grateful that this circumstance is giving humanity a chance to see itself in an entirely new way. And that goes very personally hyperlocal to me. I'm thrilled at what it's giving me the chance to feel and be within myself. And I'm very grateful for that, and grateful for the listening, the great listening that seems to be happening within our species around this. Happy to be here. And since Robert was nodding yes, we'll let Robert go next.
Actually, I want to make up for yesterday about something about nature you're grateful for, and I did a lousy job. I just wanted to preemptively mention the jade plants around where we are beautiful, and I need to find out where lines are running under the front area so I can plant some more of them. But one thing I'm very grateful for is it is difficult with a political momentum that's going, and then I think Wisconsin today I think they're still going to hold their primary, and it's clearly being held because it gives somebody an advantage who normally shouldn't win. But what I'm grateful for are the governors and the mayors who have stepped up and who basically said, you know, we need to do this. We can't we need your help, but just reminding people that we have actual needs here, and it should put into some sort of high relief for people the fact that we have to ask. So I'm grateful somebody is asking. And our governor, I've been very enthused about, and then I've been less enthused because of the fracking thing, but I think he's handled this pretty well. And so I'm grateful for California for trying to jump on it as best they can in a pragmatic sense. And so I am very grateful for that.
And who should go next? Oh,
Let's acknowledge Francesca checked in.
oh,
Or
hi,
came on,
Francesca. Yeah,
so.
thank you.
And Bob, who did you pick?
I picked Francesca.
Okay.
I was going to, but you beat me to it.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was adjusting the volume and lost the page. Let's see.
All right. So what we were inviting people to speak to is some action or activism that they've noticed recently, for which they're very grateful.
Okay. Has everybody else gone?
No, I don't think
Oh,
Carol or Kendon have gone. So if you want to pass for a little bit.
sure.
Okay, Kendon, Carol, you're ready to go. Let's,
Sure.
where are you? Okay.
If it's okay with Camden. I'm really grateful for my neighbor, Meg. Really nice gal, whom I connected with via the Nextdoor app. She's gone and gotten me medicine and a nutritional supplement and groceries twice. She's gotten groceries twice. And she's going to do one more run on Wednesday, and then she wants to help flatten the curve by not doing runs for a couple of weeks. So I'm very grateful for what she's done. She also said she wanted to garden with me, but she didn't take me up on that when I last sent her a message. I also told her about this because she's a meditator and a fanatical gardener. So I'm very grateful for her help. And what else was I going to say? I'm grateful for your green background, Paul. Are you really out in the woods, or is that a picture?
Yeah.
Nice picture. And I have to beg everybody's pardon because I'm pretty tired and it takes all of my energy to do my Qigong these days, and I don't do more than 40 minutes.
No worries, no worries. Be well, be comfortable.
Yeah, I'm just gonna chill out mainly while we're doing this and probably close my eyes. But I've got the picture on so you can know I'm here.
Thanks for that. All right. Kendon, are you ready to go?
Oh, I am certainly as ready as I will be.
All righty.
And I can certainly express great gratitude in the abstract to my daughter. And if I cry easily, as I tell people. But the power went out yesterday morning, and I'm currently in a lovely B&B called the Redwoods for the day. We'll go back to my daughter's house this evening, where we will, so far as we know, continue to have no power and possibly come down here again tomorrow. But as we speak, I'm in a room that is reasonably well heated, and at this point in my life, I do not tolerate cold well. And my daughter is standing outside, possibly in the rain, with her laptop, doing work she does, because it would be a problem for her if she were here while I'm listening and talking. And given all that we are all living with and in some sense present to, and to some degree, compassionately open to. I don't find it strange that I am so removed from my own feelings and so ready to cry. It's sort of a fact. But the gratitude is real nonetheless. I'm just not, I don't feel like a part of it as I speak to you. So now I pick someone. So Francesca.
I think Francesca's the only one who hasn't gone. Yeah.
And real quick, Kendon, would you lower your camera so we can see your whole face so you kind of get cut off there? There you go, you beautiful hunk of man.
Speaking of adjustments, I have my hearing aids in. I have the volume on my laptop up as high as it will go, which isn't very good. So if people could be conscious about speaking maybe just a little bit more loudly than usual. I'm actually grateful for kind of the interpersonal activism that's going on in my life. My friends who are willing to reach out to me and ask questions, and also to give advice to me sometimes. I'm not sleeping very much, and I give advice about how to reduce stress, but I'm not too good at it myself. My son reached out this morning about a medical issue that we may share. I don't know. I'm grateful about a little piece of activism that I did, which is probably why I'm a little late, is that I wrote to Alternet and gave them hell because there's an excellent article on Trump's psychopathy, I guess we put it, and why a quote from Mein Kampf that I've never read it, and just to try to understand. Anyway, I wanted to share the article with people, but Alternet's been putting this thing all over, interfering with the page and everything. Donate, 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 to the point where it's aggressive. And then just down at the bottom, they have this little thing that says, well, if you're low income, here, email so-and-so, we'll see what we can do. So I emailed him and gave him an earful. And I said, you know, I'm so grateful for independent journalism and what you have to struggle with. There's a lot of people struggling right now. And if you don't give an allowance to people who maybe can't afford $99 a year, that you're cutting off a sizable portion of your readers. And I asked for him to discuss this with the rest of the staff and to please get back to me. But I did say, you know, I've supported them financially in the past, and I'll do the best I can. But if you're splashing this all over pages and to the point of threat, that's not helpful. So we'll see what happens with that.
All right. So Benny's invitation to us as a topic to discuss for the couple who had come in late is we're going to be talking about how to talk about activism, how to be sensitive and address different things at this time of crisis, if I'm capturing that. So that's going to be what we'll be talking about for our discussion. But what I'd like us to do is just drop into a couple minutes of silence first and think about, before this wave hit, before, you know, the coronavirus became the only thing that people were thinking about or talking about, what were the actions that felt most important and urgent to you? And where do you put them now in terms of closer to the center or of your life or farther away, given where we are now? So just kind of do an internal check about those. So I'll give us 2 minutes of silence as we work on that, and then we'll dive into the question. And we're right at that threshold of, I think small groups might serve us better. So I think we'll go that direction. But here we'll go for 2 minutes of quiet. So welcome back in. And Derek, it looks like you have the host controls. Do you want to put us into 2 groups? And what I'll do is give us essentially 2 questions. First, you know, what had been central to you before this, and how does it intersect with what's going on now? And then second, more directly at Benny's question of what is appropriate, how do we best navigate having conversations around our old activism and the new activism that we're called to in this time. Does that feel right? Okay, so I'll try and write those up. Derek, if you want to get us into groups.
Here we go.